Now you probably won't believe this, but someone has paid over $7.5 million for a CryptoPunk and over $200,000 for a digital trading card. Well, this is the world of NFTs, and if you haven't heard of them, well, you're going to find all about them in this video. Hello everyone, my name is Rooshock, and on today's video I'm going to be talking to you about NFTs. So if you haven't heard of them or you've been living under a rock in the last few weeks, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So I'll talk about what they are in general, and then I'm going to go through some examples of them, and I think some of this will just blow your mind. So before I can explain a non-fungible token, let's just quickly go through what a fungible asset is. So a fungible asset is something that can be exchanged one for one and there's no real difference. So for instance, say a note of money, so a $10 note, every $10 note in Australia is going to be worth the same amount of money. It pretty much mimics each other. They might have a different long-term number on them kind of thing, but they're going to be the same value to every single person. And then so obviously, because we're going to be talking about digital assets here, for example, a fungible asset in the cryptocurrency world is say Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin is the same as another Bitcoin. They're all the same and therefore they're all worth the same amount of money. And then you can go to a non-fungible asset. So for instance, a house is a non-fungible asset. No two houses are going to be the exact same. Same with a car. Even though they may be built the same, they're still different. They're distinguishably different. You can identify that that's car one and that's car two. They may be the same model, but they are different. So obviously then when we talk about a non-fungible token, then we're talking about something that can be uniquely identified as being different, even though it may be built from the same type of thing. So for example, with NBA Top Shot, which is one of the things I'll talk about, each moment has its own serial number. So it's easy to identify that you've got serial number 1, and that is a different asset to serial number 50. And they may carry different values depending on different utilities or based on what people's preferences are with serial numbers, etc. But it's easily identifiable that that is a separate asset to this one. So today I'm going to talk about 3 different major areas that are happening in the NFT world. So I'm going to talk about NBA Top Shot, CryptoPunks, and digital art in general. So these are just 3 different areas. I think it'll be really good to use them as examples to explain some of the different types of NFTs and what some of their uses may be. Now, for everyone listening, I'm still learning this. I've only been researching this for probably about a month now. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, watched a lot of YouTube videos on it, and have started to invest a little bit of money as well, but I'm still learning, and everyone in this field is still learning. So it is a learning curve. It's a risky thing if you do choose to invest, but I really want to share my journey of learning about this. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is NBA Top Shot. So I'll go through the website here and you can see it. So what they are moments, and they pretty much are a digital version of sports trading cards, and in this case, obviously basketball and the NBA. So this is actually licensed by the NBA. They recently actually used this platform to announce the Rising Stars. So they're taking this seriously, and a lot of the NBA players have now started to get involved, which has really seen the growth of this platform explode over the last month. So if I just take you back a little bit, trading cards have actually been exploding over the last few years. So people probably remember having trading cards back when they were at school 10, 15 years ago, and sports trading cards in particular have made a bit of a comeback recently. And there's been some big sales of those really high ticketed items, your Michael Jordans, your LeBron James rookie cards, etc. And these are going for a lot of money. So it only makes sense that one of the biggest NFT areas at the moment is in the sports trading cards facility. So pretty much what an NFT is when it comes to NBA Top Shot is you buying this little video of a moment. So it may be a LeBron James dunk, or it could be a Steph Curry 3-pointer, and you therefore own that little moment. Now people are going to go, well, why would I buy that when I can just watch that video on YouTube, etc. But it's no different to say we got a piece of art. Well, you can take a picture of that, or you can find a picture of it in the internet, but you don't own that. So it's really putting a ownership to that moment and to that serial number. So what happens, these moments are minted on a blockchain. I won't go into details on blockchains because it's pretty technical, but then each moment has a certain amount of mint. So this one might have a 3,000 limited edition, and so there's only 3,000 of that in total existence ever. And then someone will own a serial number version of that. So if you can get that number 1 in a pack, so they release packs and you may get a certain amount of moments in that pack, then that's likely to be worth more than, say, serial number 2,470, for instance. So it's really adding other layers to collectors So you might have a collection, but you want to get that serial number 1, or you want to get a higher serial number, or you want to get one that mimics the player's jersey number. So it's adding a lot of layers into collecting beyond just collecting a set of cards, for instance. And so this has huge potential. People have actually made some significant money off this. So I've seen videos where people have showed they put about $10,000 in and now have a collection that's worth over $1 million. So it's a huge growth, and it's something that just shows that, one, it could be overvalued, but two, it's something that people probably should be looking into as either a way of collecting, if they're a collector, or as a potential investment. Now, obviously, when a market explodes like that, things are going to be overvalued. 100%, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose money on investments like this because they buy in at the peak and then they sell out when it dips down and they lose their money. But there's definitely money to be made. So I only got into this a few weeks ago and lucked out and did get a pack for $14 US. And I sold one of the moments for $198 within a week. So there's definitely money that can be made through this. But again, you have to do a lot of research. I've spent a lot of hours on this to really understand how it all works before you throw your money into something. It's that classic, don't invest in something you don't understand. So one other thing before I go into the next thing, what's really cool about this from an NBA and basketball perspective is that, can you imagine that you buy a moment off of an NBA player? You can see it. That's the great thing about the blockchain, is you can see all the history of that particular moment, who has owned it. That serial number is traceable. So you can see, how cool would it be if you bought a LeBron James moment that LeBron James had previously owned? You can see where this adds a whole nother layer into it. And they're talking about eventually having the ability for players to autograph moments like they would with a physical card. So there's lots of expansion here that I can see really taking off. Now, before I get in and talk about CryptoPunks, because I'm sure everyone's wanting to understand what a CryptoPunk is, and spoiler alert, one sold for millions of dollars. If this is your first time on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Do you own any NFTs? I want to hear from you. Anyway, let's get into CryptoPunks. All right, the next area I want to talk to you about is CryptoPunks. Now, that's going to sound like a very weird terminology, but stay with me and have a look at some of this. So these are the prices of these CryptoPunks. So CryptoPunks was a project that was one of the first NFTs to appear on the Ethereum blockchain. And pretty much there was 10,000 of these CryptoPunks, which are little digital pieces of art, I suppose, that's what you could call them. And they were actually given away at the start. So obviously these were quickly scooped up, and you can see each one kind of has different traits. So there's all different types of little characters here, but there's only 10,000. There will only ever be 10,000. So there'll never be any more. There's not multiples of each, there is one of each. And that scarcity has really driven up the price recently. So literally just yesterday, at the time of recording this, one of these sold for 42,000 Ethereum, which is 7.5 million US dollars. Now, look, just let that think in. $7.5 million for someone to own this little clip or this little picture. That is a lot of money. So as you can imagine, that is the most expensive NFT that has ever actually been sold on the market. But I think this record will be smashed, and it will be smashed over and over again. If you think of what some people are willing to pay for high-end art, this is just the beginning of the digital version of that. And CryptoPunks being one of the first things, it has added that value of being an original kind of one of the original NFTs. And I think it will actually hold its value well compared to maybe some of the new things that will come out in the market. And then so the third area I want to talk to you about is digital art. So this is where NFTs are going to dominate the space, I think, is in the digital art area. So you think how much money is spent on art per year, and this is going to be the digital version of this. And it wouldn't surprise me if one day people are displaying in their homes or in their virtual reality worlds, if we want to get into that, a digital piece of art they own. So this is probably the area where people go, well, why am I going to buy a digital picture when I can find that same picture on the internet and save that for free, and I can print that, or one day I can display that on my wall on a digital photo frame, for instance. But that's no different to, say, the Mona Lisa. You could go get a picture of that right now, or you could go to wherever it's held and take a photo of it, but you don't own the original, do you? So it's not worth the value of what the person that owns that original is. And the thing with physical art, how much of physical art is actually stored away in basements and no one even knows if what's on the wall is the real thing? Whereas with NFTs, you can know if that is the real thing or not, because again, it's on the blockchain, it's validated. You know that person actually owns that. You know that they're not lying because you can see it's in their wallet. So I want to talk about a guy that goes by Beeple online. So he's been doing digital art for 5,000 days. He did one piece per day for 5,000 days. So first of all, that is commitment. That is an awesome effort. And now it's paying off for him. So he's actually just released a commemorative piece up for auction of a piece celebrating the 5,000 days. By the time this video goes up, this will probably have actually sold, but it started at $100, the auction, in late February, I think. And at the time of recording this, it's at over $13 million. So this will become the most expensive NFT ever sold. But this just shows getting in early on some of these big artists is going to make a lot of people a lot of money. And it's also a great way to support the artists, because artists can sell their art, and every time that sells for the rest of that art piece's lifespan, which could be infinite, is going to pay royalties back to the artist, which is a great thing, because on the secondary market of physical art, that doesn't always happen. And there's so much more that's going to come into this NFT world going forward. So I think in the future, pretty much everything that is digitally owned will be some form of NFT. You might not even realize that initially, but that is the ability for this to take over. So you think when you're buying digital games or skins in games, or it could even be music, albums, etc., they may be owned via some form of NFT. And then this can expand beyond that. There could be utilities within these tokens. So you may own a rare token for your favorite food place that actually gives you unlimited food for a year or for the rest of the lifetime while you hold that. You may own tokens of your favorite rapper that allows you a meet and greet backstage to anyone that owns that NFT. Like I said before, you could get tokens autographed. There's so much this could expand to. Now, I really want to touch on, if you're planning on putting some actual money into this, don't forget, this is risky. There is going to be a lot of projects that fail and go to zero. So you need to do your research. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. And think of it a bit like cryptocurrency. This could be really big, or it could fail in certain areas. I think it will be around long term. But like I said, there's going to be projects that fail. Do your research. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Thank you for watching the video. If you want to hear more about NFTs, let me know, because I'm really interested in the space. I would love to make some more videos about it, and I'll talk to you soon.